secrets to investing during a recession. You hear recession and you see the economy failing, GDP dropping, people selling their assets to pay their bills, corporates losing their jobs, and headlines illustrating images of stock market graphs declining. The economic recession has several comorbidities like unemployment, bankruptcy, piled-up debts, and swiftly dropping market value of the assets. Everyone who is surviving the economic loss is losing. But is recession really a storm with no silver lining? As is said, every cloud has a silver lining. Recession also proves to behold a silver lining for some of the investment freaks whose forte is to invest and earn. People like Warren Buffett crave economic recession. I just hope I see a lot more recessions. Does this statement startle you? Are you wondering how a recession can mimic a lottery for you? If yes, continue watching the video. Here, you will learn how to make an economic wreckage a gold field of opportunities. Keep watching and find out how a recession wins you more wealth than a lottery ticket does. Secrets to investing during a recession. Groupon was a baby firm when the economy was hit by a hiatus in 2008. But now, it has developed into a multinational firm with its branches spread in 300 markets and 35 countries within 2 years, whilst other businesses were still rising up on their feet after the economic shock. Ronald M. Sheich believes the best time to grow is in a recession. For some, the recession might be a huge tumble, but for others, it may serve as the optimum habitat to germinate. Let's look into the bigger picture of the economic recession. Do not panic. If you're a big Leonardo fan, you must remember a scene from The Wolf of Wall Street where Mark Hanna utters a few words about the stock market. Number one rule of Wall Street? Nobody, and I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or if you're Jimmy Buffett, nobody knows if a stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in circles. You know what a fugazi is? Well, the character was precisely right about the stock market. Investing in the stock market is a gamble because everyone is clueless. No one, even people like Warren Buffett, will ever be able to forecast any surge or drop in stock market values. So if the market values are declining, nobody will ever be able to outline the expected time of its surge or its further drop, which implies that people who are proclaiming depressive predictions are bluffing themselves. You do not need to fear when others are dreadful, as Warren says. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Another weight-bearing rule of the stock market is that the market will always bounce back. You have Warren's words that imply that the market will never face a pause. It will always be either recessing or booming. When a market is facing an economical hiatus, the one thing you need to manifest is persistence. Honor your loyalty to your initial plan and do not decide haphazardly when the market crashes, because like after every night comes the day, after every recession follows the economic boom. The rule will always elevate your morale and will help you regain your gold value. Prepare for the fall. It is always better to prepare yourself for the fall before it hits you. While the economy is at its peak, you may witness people flying their credit cards out of their wallets. They may spend their money extravagantly. The flourishing economy reassures the people like nothing else, and they may intend to buy a sports car, lavish penthouses, and branded clothes. Such an attitude results in a temporary dopamine rush, and people start building a fantasy world around them. Unfortunately, the world won't last long and will perish one day. One of the rules of the investment claims that the market will eventually crash. What are you supposed to do if you are trying to acquire long-lasting wealth in the intensely unpredictable stock? All you have to do is stay dormant in the period of economic boom. The business geniuses would suggest you keep your hand from purchasing luxuries, following surplus fantasies, and putting your money into futile things, while others are relishing in the economic boom. By now, you would have learned by heart you have to be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Don't follow the trend and keep yourself sane. The intention is to keep dormant and pile up your savings for the inevitable economic recession. Job number one for anyone with a credit card is to pay off their balances as soon as possible, said Matt Schultz, who is the top credit critic of LendingTree. When a recession may be on the way and interest rates are rising rapidly, it's even more important, he added further. It makes sense for workers to right-size their emergency reserves based on their own situations, Ben said while asserting the fact that investors need to save their funds in order to cope with the recession. When the stock market values are at their peak, people are dumping their money into purchasing overpriced assets. It is rash to purchase the stock at high prices, so don't waste your time purchasing overpriced stocks. However, when the market crashes, the people who were busy spending their money on luxury items will now panic. They will react haphazardly and would want to sell their stocks no matter how potentially profitable the stocks are. Their adrenaline rush will compel them to sell their assets out of fear. You know, these are not the attributes that will let you survive in the bustle of the stock market. To progress and grow in the stock market, you only have to be patient and take the decisions wisely while keeping in mind the upheavals of the stock market. That is all you need to be prepared for the crash of the stock market. Remember, the only weapon you have to fight off the uncertainty of the stock market is with persistence or patience. Now, when everyone is in a rush to sell their stocks, you can run through research, get expert advice, and devise a plan to enter the market with an "I came, I saw, I conquered" attitude. Subsequent to the research and setting your goal, you can now buy an asset that has the potential to get you enough profit for the rest of your life. All in all, the game plan is to sit back, prepare, wait, and rule the world of the stock market. Here again, we quote the famous investment mentor Warren Buffett. Remember that the stock market is manic depressive. He further suggests, in short, the bad news is an investor's best friend. It lets you buy a slice of America's future at a marked down price. A recession will get you the chance to buy a slice of America's future at cheaper prices is what the tycoon, like Warren Buffett, said in his quote, giving the people a ray of hope and providing them with a motivation to survive even in a drastic economic fall. Now you are allowed to be greedy and purchase stocks from different industries or different genres. The diversity in the stock will help you survive other upcoming economic crashes and make money to get filthy rich. Never time the market. Before we get into the nerdy details about not timing the market, let's define the phrase. Timing the market means interpreting the falls and rise of the market based on the history of experience of others. Honestly, if the market remained on the premises of past events, librarians would have earned enough to buy land on Mars or go for a space tour with Jeff Bezos. If you base your assumptions on past events or the predictions of the experts, you're timing the market and leading yourself to a dead end. The senior economic critic for Bankrate.com, Mark Hamrick, puts forward his remarks on timing the market. Most people, most mere mortals, are not able to time the market. He added, every Warren Buffett would admit that. Another detailed explanation to educate the newbies is articulated by Saglambine. One of the things that we always coach investors and advisors to do is when you're in the throes of either a recession or in a bear market, you don't want to make outsized allocation adjustments until the dust settles. He further added, if you're properly diversified, you're weathering the storm. The worst thing an investor could do right now is to try to time the market bottom. Timing the market is an absurd approach and has no statistical or factual backing. Timing the market precisely and getting the intended results is extremely rare and miraculous. None of the veteran investors can ever claim their prediction is 100% accurate. Thus, for a newbie investor, waiting for a perfect time will only delay their journey to get rich. The most suited and rational approach to investing is to invest your money immediately after you have gathered your principal to invest in the stock market. In the investor circle, procrastination is considered fouler than bad timing. So you must invest instantly once you have decided to put your money in the stock market. Buy low, sell high. One golden rule in the stock market is to buy the stocks when the economy is facing a crisis and exhibit a recession, and sell the assets when the market is experiencing an economic boom. By following the pattern, you can be the next Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos. Only people who are well acquainted with the rule of buying low and selling high can survive the swings of the stock market. not only that they'll be able to survive it, but they will also gain the tendency to replicate their money without even moving their leg. When a nation is striving for an economic hiatus, the people might want to sell their assets to pay their piled-up debts and make a living for themselves. The last and only option for a person who is hit hard by the economic recession is to sell his or her home, stocks, and other valuable products. It is not the case for only one individual. Rather, every person's mind works the same way and forces them to desperately sell their assets that hold a value in the market. On the contrary, there is no one who has prepared themselves for the prevailing economic recession except you. Thus, no one will be able to buy an asset when they are piled up with debt. The saturation of sellers and diluted buyers leads to a fall in prices. Now is the time you emerge as a buyer and purchase these assets at very low prices, which you can sell at higher prices when the economy stabilizes. You can now sell these assets at their original prices and make the money that you always dreamed of. An interesting fact about the recession is that when all other businesses are crashing, the firms that provide their customers an escape from the hard reality rise. For example, Netflix in the recession period of 2008 gained 2 million subscribers. Likewise, the brands that sell alcohol, tobacco, or cigarettes were also untouched by the effects of the economic recession. The point to make is that when you invest during a recession, think wisely and invest your money in the industries that provide the products or services that console and comfort their consumer. That way, you will be able to protect your money from any loss, even in a recession. Are you terrified by the prediction of upcoming economic recession? Are you trying to prepare yourself for the crisis? Did you ever imagine that a recession could bring opportunities for you? If you found answers to your questions in the video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel to get updates about worldly affairs.